and welcome back to A Manor of Speaking, a good society RPG or Jane Austen inspired role-playing game. Tonight, we are bringing to you the polite machinations of several individuals in the Regency, England, the United Kingdom, and we are using a set of rules called Good Society, which is coming out very soon to a Kickstarter near you from a group of individuals called Storybrewers. You should follow them on Twitter. They're lovely people, and soon they will have a Kickstarter, and you too can acquire a version of this game. So we are utilizing their rules for playing with a Jane Austen-inspired setting. So some people were asking earlier in the chat, and I'm going to attempt to slip out of this accent. Okay. So it takes me a moment. Gotta get out of it. So I am the facilitator, which means that I play a host of predefined connections, or characters that have a specific connection to a main character. However, I only control 2 of their defined connections. The other defined connection is controlled by another player, which essentially means that other than myself, everyone is playing a main character and a connection. And though it often means in a scene, it can look very similar. There are some different rules governing how connections can do things and what can happen to them. So there are some more strict rules on what can happen to a connection, or on a main character, as opposed to what can happen to a connection. That is why it might seem people are playing 2 characters. So they're sort of controlling an NPC, but they're a little bit more involved than an NPC. So let's very briefly reintroduce our characters. And we didn't talk about the relationship card. Did we feel like we want to talk about it, or we
probably should
bring it up? Sure. So let's go over our character's objective and then the defined relationship. So you get a card which has both a public side and a private side that give you your objective, which is your raison d'être, and a person you have a connection with, which also gives you some interesting secrets. So let's go over here.
Yes.
Who are you playing, and then what's your objective?
I am playing Isaac Croft, and my objective is they were strangers worse than strangers, for they could never become acquainted. And my relation card is friend. The person receiving this card is a long-standing acquaintance.
Who did you receive it from? So you are a long-standing
Gerald.
acquaintance of Gerald.
You still visit on the rare occasion.
All right. I am playing Charity Fairfax, who is trying to masquerade. Who's playing her twin brother, Jasper Fairfax. Her twin brother had a bit of a nervous breakdown, and as he is the only son of this family and the first, I mean, technically I was born 2 seconds before him, but, whatever. We can't let our family's reputation be tarnished. And so the story is that they have sent Charity off to a finishing school out of the country, though I'm maybe a bit of a bad liar and keep saying university and then finishing school, and it might get me into trouble. And I'm pretending to be Jasper. And I have here my main motivation is what is right to be done cannot be done too soon. Makes sense. And then I got to the best of friends. The person receiving this card is the most intimate companion and long-standing friend. And I got this from Lizzie and Margaret. And the main connection there is that she and Charity were good friends. And Jasper. Maybe Jasper was not aware of the friendship being as good as Margaret. But she and Charity don't really speak.
Which leads us into, I am Elizabeth Bold, and I am playing Margaret Harding, an heiress to a textile fortune. Her motivation, at least the public side of it, is selfishness must always be forgiven, because there is no hope of a cure. And her connection with one of our fine players is former friend. The person receiving this card is your former friend. However, your cruel actions towards them ended your relationship abruptly. And it was, in fact, Charity's cruel actions which ended our friendship quite abruptly.
What did she do?
Dun, dun.
Done!
Hi everyone, I'm Algernon Bolin, and I'm playing Lieutenant Gerald Hawkins. I looked it up, same thing. Anyway,
Yes,
So-
lieutenant and lieutenant.
I actually was worried for a second there. Anyway,
Pronunciation.
he is a former lieutenant within the Brigadiers of a great war for England. And
war.
The war.
The
The war.
the only war.
You don't
The only
speak of
one that matters.
His motivation is a large income is the best recipe for happiness I have ever heard of. And the connection he received was a rival. The person receiving this card is your rival. For countless years, they've enjoyed the benefits of what should have been yours. And that was given to him by Charlotte Spencer, the Dowager.
And I'm Tuesday. I'm your facilitator in this game. I will be playing a host of connections as well as Charlotte Spencer, Countess Charlotte Spencer, the Dowager. She is, her objective is our scars make us know that our past was real. And she's an old family friend with Isaac. The person receiving this card is an old family friend. Years ago, your families were quite well acquainted, and since your youth, you have rarely corresponded. So she is well acquainted with Isaac's father.
Very old family friend.
The one with the
37. I am
vampires.
basically over the hill. So
Some of us are slightly near that age in real life and do not appreciate these jokes.
So we are going to commence another cycle of play. So we will go through our 5 phases, including another rumors and scandal phase. And
Do we get our tokens?
you don't. No,
No!
It's once per
session.
It's once per session.
Well, I already had 2 anyway.
I actually
so-
think they may not refresh. Connections just get 2. So let me double check.
Okay, once totally per, not per cycle, but per actual gameplay.
I think it might be.
Or not at all.
Consent tokens.
When do we get our monologue tokens back?
Each game. Each
Okay.
person starts with 2 resolve tokens. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I think that's it. You just have 2.
Oh, and then through the whole game.
Through the
Wow,
game.
that's awesome,
Yeah.
actually.
So they
You're
are
just gonna
limited
shuffle
supply. You
themselves
just gotta
around.
shuffle them around. And I have a restocking supply as the facilitator, so that is one of the other ways. You will continue to get them. So I do get my resolve token back. You get a monologue token every game. I have spent mine quite wisely, I think. So there was talk of a hunt. There was talk of
A ball.
a ball, but I don't believe that ball has happened. In the Mary will be arriving. What else is happening? Is there something else important? Oh, Cecil is arriving as well. So let's go to the hunt, perhaps, or no, let us go to after the hunt. Now, the hunt concluded. How do you think it went, sort of in general?
For as poor as his social graces might be, Gerald is actually a consummate soldier and a good shot, so he probably has racked up a number of pheasants. And have guided some people who don't know their way around a gun to teach them the ways of it.
Dudley used to be a soldier, but he was not really the best. He actually had to get saved quite a few times. So while Gerald was teaching everyone their way around a gun, he pretended like, I don't need to hear this, but he was listening very intently. Intensely.
Both.
Words.
For Jasper, it went quite well. Luckily, Charity's father, Cornelius, has been teaching her the ways of being a man. And she is quite a quick study, and so it was no trouble for her to learn how to ride no longer side saddle and to use a gun. Though she did not really care for the sport, she did manage to kill 2 pheasants and is quite satisfied.
Excellent. And there was an unexpected guest on this hunt. The father didn't go. He was pretty indisposed, busy. But I'm going to spend one of Cecil's resolve tokens. He had arrived just that morning and had unpacked, and he was staying with the family at the father's invitation, at Benedict Harding invitation, and after partaking in a late breakfast, and when the gentleman arrived to begin the hunt, to use the estate grounds, he was perhaps self-invited to join them on this hunt. And so now we return back to the house for afternoon. In fact, the chef kindly takes the pheasants that were shot on the grounds and offers to prepare a dinner. In fact, if all of you would care to stay for dinner, Benedict Harding will so kindly offer to have them here, and maybe we'll suggest that they invite some of the other individuals about the town as well, so it's not quite so lonely. But it would be a shame to send them home.
It would be a shame to send them home.
Excellent. Gentlemen, enjoy yourselves, but perhaps you would care to partake in some tea while you wait, or a spot of brandy. I'll have them bring that in. And in the meantime, unfortunately, I have some business to attend to. Duties never end. And Benedict Harding will saunter away, leaving Cecil, Dudley, Jasper, Gerald, and Margaret. This time in the drawing room, because it's not quite as sunny outside. It's a bit chilled. The sun will be setting soon. The horses have been stabled.
Probably a chaperone sitting in a corner somewhere.
The maid.
Yeah,
Standing
just
in the
sitting
corner.
there in the corner somewhere.
It's awkward.
You had a successful hunt, gentlemen?
Quite so. We've caught a half score of pheasants with only 3 hours. That was quite impressive, especially from Jasper. I must say, I'm quite surprised in the most positive way.
What should you mean? I wonder, especially from Jasper.
Soldiers' stories get around, and it's mostly untrue because they like to boast, and sometimes they have ways of making people that are not part of combat seem not
Sir, are you trying to imply that my friend is somehow less capable in a hunt than yourself, simply because he has not been a member of the service?
Of course not. I would never imply that just being not a member of service would be less than that. But when one is forced out through political reasons, that's something else entirely.
I should not know what you are speaking of, and I'm certain that Mr. Fairfax does not either.
Yes, I am utterly stunned by this. I do not know what sort of rumors you're speaking of. Would you care to share them with me?
Actually, I can just take the rumor token directly from there.
So how do you want to utilize this resolve token?
I am going to... Oh, Cecil's not in the room, is he?
He is in the room.
Yeah, no, he's
Cecil's
not.
in the room.
Is he?
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate common rumor among the men of the town, especially those who were in the front forces, as the good Sir Cecil might be able to corroborate. I'm not one to usually partake in rumor, but this is general fact among these men.
Well, it's not surprising that they would have no information about me other than silly rumors to occupy their time, because I would not have interacted with them. I was training, not with the common folk who would seek to join.
We are talking about men of rank, officers, if you will. That would be baronets, barons, those of a station even beyond ours who are making these rumors.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me for assuming you would have been spending time with other people in the town.
Can't imagine why anyone would think that you would keep company with the lower class.
I just can't imagine anyone else spreading such a rumor.
It's not to me to say that rumors have been spread. We had simply heard talk that the Fairfax family's son, you are well known in this area after all, had taken quite ill, and in fact had perhaps been ill through much of his military training.
Well, of course, there was no chance I was ever going to actually go off to war, especially not with the duties I have to my family and my future place in the House of Lords. So I simply, as sort of my studies were coming to an end, did not make preparation for joining up in the fighting, because it would have been improper of me to risk my family's legacy. And, of course, I was not present at the graduation, unfortunately, because I had caught a bout of influenza, and I am, luckily, quite well recovered.
And how fortunate we all are that it did not take you,
Yes.
as it has taken so many.
Yes, but you talk about going to war to protect your family. What about protecting the country?
Well, yes, if we don't have people in the House of Lords to be making these big decisions, the country would fall into disarray.
And they don't have people of greater station to lead the commoners. How will we ever win such a war?
That is for the military to be deciding. My place is next to my father, and that's where I intend to go.
I see.
Well, I did quite well on the hunt. Thanks for asking, everyone. I shot 10 pheasants, though I think my dog was broken. Didn't bring back a single one.
Yeah.
10 pheasants.
10.
A wondrous bounty indeed. Such a shame that we are unable to reap the benefits of such a master huntsman, sir.
Well, I have been known for my shot. Back in the military. I'm sure there are stories going around about how great I was.
Unfortunately,
Have you
I
heard them?
do not believe that I have been privy to such stories.
Oh. Well, I'm sure there are people talking about it. You'll hear it eventually.
I'm certain.
I don't like to boast about myself.
That much is certainly obvious. Cousin, your arrival was most unexpected, but of course most welcome. I hope that you also...
I am here at your father's request.
I can't imagine my father would have requested your presence.
Invitation. Our fathers have, perhaps not always seen eye to eye or gotten along, and I'm mostly here simply to make amends or repair bridges that have been burnt.
Have bridges been burnt? I was unaware that there was any animosity between us.
I'm not sure if it's between us or simply our families, and perhaps these are grudges that cannot be borne.
I should think that your stock most hardy enough to bear anything.
We are the Hardings.
Indeed.
Or I should say you are.
Ooh.
Why do we have different last names?
Brother
We're
and
cousins.
sister,
Yeah.
cousins.
My mother is not. Yes. Not my mother. Well, I suppose our parents may someday make amends, but how have you been? You are clearly surrounded by such fine company.
Many of recent acquaintance. However, I am doing well, thank you. And she volunteers nothing else.
Cecil is clearly looking at her hand and seeing no ring.
Ooh.
I see that, I understand that your sisters are all well?
Certainly. One is married, the other soon to be engaged. But you're not like them, and that is perhaps one of the greatest features that you have. You are independent, you are headstrong.
Do not be too excited over my independence, cousin. It might be slightly unbecoming of you.
I simply wish to pay compliments to you and remind you of what makes you such a wonderful addition to our family.
Your compliments certainly are received in the spirit in which they were given.
I am going to spend the rumors resolve token that you have been proposed to and not given a response. I I am to presume that none of these are the gentlemen in which extended an offer to you, then.
Sir, I certainly do not know what it is that you speak of. No offer has been made, and certainly I would not be so brazen as to... Honestly, cousin. She kind of slams down her fan.
Perhaps this is not time for such talk. We just had a pleasant hunt. We're in the embraces of a wonderful young woman. Perhaps we can just have more polite conversation while the dinner's getting ready.
Perhaps something not circulating around my personal life. Despite its great interest to you, cousin.
I'm merely asking to know where we stand as a family.
We are inseparably family. I think that is standing enough. Mr. Dudley, perhaps you can regale us with some stories of your time in the military that you were so recently boasting about.
In the war.
In the war.
Yes. Well, there was one time we were defending a bridge. It was a large bridge. We were very outnumbered. I think it was just me and 4 other people. And against, let me think. 50 against 50. Yes.
50 men.
Yes, we were out of ammunition. We had none left. So we waited, and then they began to cross the bridge. And I mean, it's all a bit fuzzy from there.
You're
but
referring
then
to the Battle
next-
of the Great Bridge.
Yes.
The Battle of the Great Bridge from
Yes.
the children's story Teeny Soldier.
Are you putting a token in for that? Absolutely. Absolutely.
As a token.
I feel like you just read my mind. Yes, but I mean, our stories are all.
Mr. Egerton,
Yes.
perhaps we should speak with my uncle and see how the pheasants are cooking in the kitchen.
Yes, that's a great idea. We'll have to talk about this bridge story at some point. I can't wait to hear it.
Quite.
In that moment, Cecil and Mr. Egerton will leave the room. So briefly, we are left with Mealy, Jasper, and Gerald. And Margaret.
Margaret, I am sorry that I did not intercede sooner when your cousin Cecil was inquiring so rudely into your personal life. It came so suddenly that it was over before I had time to think. But again, I am sorry that for you to be troubled so.
I thank you for your concern, Jasper, of course. You are, as always, a gentleman. I thought, however, that the wonderful story of the bridge might have been a greater distraction had it not been so unceremoniously derailed.
I take things very seriously, seldom except when it comes to matters of war.
I recall you taking your horse very seriously. Perhaps your horse not taking you quite as seriously.
Perhaps. But perhaps it's timely when someone seeks a death and of death of one's comrades. There are many joking matters, both of society and of common and upper class. Matters of war is not for discussion or jest.
I would not jest on matters of war. I do not even wish to discuss matters of war.
Yes, it is important to remember that after war does come peace, and at some point...
No, you do not get to discuss matters of war and peace for someone who has ducked out of the service.
My family would not have permitted me to do anything other than to leave. The only reason why I ever went to that school was at my father's behest, because he wanted to train me to have the discipline of a soldier, so that I might carry the burden of my family's legacy and my duty to my king and country with honor in the House of Lords. Maybe your family does not have to worry quite so about sacrificing an heir, but my family does. And that is the state of things. Moreover, there are other things to life than killing.
I believe my colonel had a great saying about what you just talked about, and it is called an excuse. For that, I bid you a good day, and good day to you, Jasper. I'll say it.
Good day, sir.
Does Gerald leave?
First, I must apologize, but I find the company at the moment...
To whom? There's no one else in the room.
Oh, the chaperone left as well.
Oh, it's the maid.
Going
It's
to
just
apologize to the maid.
Yes.
Yes.
Keep send apologies to the master of the house that I have a great errand to run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And with that, he leaves.
Surrounded by boorish men and meddlers and...
Yes, it seems quite a distressing situation for you. I'm sorry to find you in this.
I am sorry that you have had to witness it, Jasper. It is so nice to have you back.
It is nice to be back, and hopefully we can continue to enjoy each other's parties and company without having to defend ourselves from people who would judge us so unkindly.
Indeed. I recently received a letter from your sister.
Oh, really?
Speaking of unkind judgments.
I'm not sure of what you speak.
Of course, you know of the trouble between us. And she kind of glances over at the maid, but...
As you know, that is something for which a brother likely does not hear much about. But from what I understand, there was some misunderstanding between the two.
Misunderstanding? She is the reason...
Chuckles.
She is the reason that my engagement fell apart. If it were not for her coveting my intended, we were such good friends. I don't understand what could have... But I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. I know what has happened.
I am very...
And her letter, I do not mean to speak ill of her in front of you, Jasper. It is only that her letter was so cruel. She said that she understood I to be unchanged and was happy about it, happy that I remain unmarried, that I remain in this horrible situation with father.
I highly doubt that is what she intended. If you would like, I can look at the letter myself.
I'm certain that's what she intended.
Well, I know my sister quite well, and I will say that, well, she may sometimes not have the smoothest of manner in expressing matters of her heart. She does truly care for you. And I do not know what it is you feel that you saw that evening, but from what I understand, my sister has her eyes on one particular person, and that has never changed, and she would not dare to think of anyone else.
You have always been such a kind soul, though perhaps slightly more forgiving than I recall. I do not wish to tarnish your thoughts of your sister any further.
Much appreciated.
Perhaps we can find out if dinner is yet ready.
Indeed.
With that, the bell will ring for dinner. And you will be called into the drawing room. Cecil and Dudley will be there. Cecil, perhaps having encouraged Dudley with more stories that he should tell, and dinner proceeds delightfully awkwardly as Cecil continues to egg Dudley on and try and disparage Jasper slightly while Mr. Harding tries to do the opposite, recognizing that they are at perhaps cross purposes. And we must then thus conclude, determine whose reputation of our three characters who were present in the scene went up the most and whose may have declined the most. I mean, I think Margaret's reputation went down again.
Why me? It's probably accurate.
Does anyone have a different opinion?
I'm trying to save Liz.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I don't know, leaving dinner after yelling at a guest? It seems kind of...
So rude. You're supposed to swallow your anger.
True.
We were both quite rude to people today,
Yes.
though.
It's true. Do we have a deciding then between one
Though
of
that
us?
said, there's actually a matter of loss of honor if you cannot defend yourself from battle too. Even if you
It's true.
like even if by with wise words, if you are proven a coward. So
So everyone's reputation went down.
But we
Not
can't do
what I
anything
do.
about Dudley's reputation.
that was starting in mud.
I'm untouchable.
Untouchably rock bottom.
Yeah,
Also,
it
once
can't
you
go
hit
down any
bottom,
further.
you can't keep going down. So,
Nothing to go up.
so did we make a decision then? Is it Margaret's that went down the most? Is anyone?
I'm looking at chat.
I'd say Gerald's up.
Yeah, sorry, Margaret, but that's true. Probably.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
All right. Margaret, pick your.
So does that mean I'm in
decrease.
total disrepute now?
Yes.
Great.
Whose reputation
who's
went
went
up
up?
then? Of Gerald or Jasper?
It depends on who's asking.
I'd say Gerald's went up.
Yeah.
Specifically for calling out Dudley like that, and then basically also that brought Dudley to almost have to leave the room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably
So
say
that looked
Jasper
good for you.
Got to go up. Sorry. Repeat of last time.
Hey, Lizzie.
You're close enough for me to stab you with this pencil. Just saying. Oh gosh, what am I gonna go with? Do you know what you're going with?
You receive an invitation or visit or are called upon by someone of great importance.
Okay.
He never got an invitation to that party,
He did not.
and now he does.
I was hoping it was my dad. My dad's coming to yell at you. Picking on his son.
How about you are given conditions or restrictions by a connection of influence? Maybe. Would Dudley be a connection of influence?
Over your life, yeah.
Perhaps Dudley, having witnessed her behavior recently and feeling that her prospects certainly are even more bleak now than before, and her situation even more dire, has given her a has made a proposal and given her a deadline.
Excellent. So, do you want that to happen immediately or in the epistolary or the next chapter?
Let's do next chapter.
Okay, in the next chapter. You ready to be Dudley again?
Oh, it's gonna happen.
It could also happen. Actually,
no,
let's do it in
vignette
the.
now.
Or we could do it. We could do it in the epistolary. You could just write a letter. You
We could
just write
also do
letter.
a short vignette now.
Oh, what do you want to do, Andy?
I mean, I'm fine with the letter one.
The letter one. The
Yeah.
letter one's fine with me too.
I kind of want to make it a vignette.
Okay, we can make it a vignette.
Okay.
So, after dinner, Jasper will return home. Father will find a reason to leave the room, and Dudley takes this moment
to make his proposal.
strike.
Oh God. The moment he starts coming towards her, she starts looking around, realizing that her father is gone, realizing that she's alone in this room with him,
One like server there, or
And-
they just watch.
realizing that she has no way to avoid this conversation without being inexcusably rude.
So, there's something I feel like I should talk to you about.
Sir?
It is of great importance. Well, with recent situations happening. I mean, well, no, not like that. I'd like to take your hand in marriage.
Sir, I...
And you need to give
What?
them
And within the week.
You wish my answer within the week.
Yes.
You wish to place a deadline upon me.
Yes.
Sir, that is most ungentlemanly to try and impose I am a respectable woman, and to try and force the matters of the heart are most unbecoming of a gentleman.
Well, I mean, I am a gentleman, and I wouldn't say that I'm impatient. I feel like eager would be a better word. I feel like nothing bad could possibly come out of this, and I think that it should all just happen as soon as possible.
You're being quite bold, sir.
He's so bad. He's so bad.
Yep, but it's all she's got.
Oh my god. I thank you for your kindly given offer, and I will give you my response within a week.
All right. I
And conveniently at that moment, Mr. Harding will walk back in.
Oh, Father!
I trust things have gone well in my absence.
yes, very well.
I do believe that the gentleman is in need of his carriage, Father.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Lead Mr. Dudley out. And thus ends our slight vignette. Your reputation increase will occur in the next, in the epistolary perhaps, or the
Yep.
the next chapter. Excellent. Did you have you said next. Do you have a strong preference for the next chapter of the epistolary?
I was thinking the invitation can come in future. It doesn't need it.
Okay.
So
So we'll do probably the next
Yeah.
chapter. All right.
Uber is here.
That brings us to.
So that we did the end of a chapter.
We did. We did our first chapter. Rumors.
scandals. Dun dun dun.
So we have another round of rumors and scandals to generate. We can now at the beginning. So we're going to go around. We'll do the opposite order that we did last time. We'll still start with the facilitator, but we'll go around this direction. Much in the same way as before, where you can create a new rumor or you can confirm a rumor. Now we have rumors already on the table, so you can choose to start by confirming. The first round needs to be things related to either confirming a rumor or creating a rumor related to the characters, the main characters at the table. If not, in the second round, it can be based on anything in the world. So I am going to... Perhaps create a rumor regarding who should I create a rumor about? This is tough. This is the hard part.
This is the hard
This
part.
is the very hard part. I want to make a rumor. I was like going to make one about a side character, but that's not the case. that, let's see, let's make a rumor about Jasper.
Oh.
Let's make a rumor about Jasper. That, Jasper has, oh, no, about Charity. Can we make one about Charity? I think we can.
Yeah.
That Charity is, in fact, not at a school. She has secretly eloped.
That's rough.
Scandalous.
Can you do ones about yourself?
I think it should probably be about someone else, but depends on what it is. I might
Negative
allow it.
one.
Yeah. What's your rumor?
Rumor has it that the lieutenant stormed out of the manor of Lord Margaret because she rebuked him for his boar's behavior.
I mean, he kind of did.
Okay. New rumor. Or a confirmed rumor.
I'm gonna confirm that eloped rumor. I do love a good elopement.
All right. It is confirmed.
All right, I'm going to add one about Gerald, and that he feels insecure in his station and thus has a tendency to lash out at his betters.
Ooh, snap.
So wait, we cannot do a rumor about a side character?
No,
It has to
not
be.
in this
Oh,
round.
dang it.
You can do that in the next round, and you'll get to go again.
Oh, perfect. I'm going to confirm the fact that Gerald has a drinking problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Why would he be so bold to just call someone out like that?
Jared has a drinking problem, and now you can go again.
Also, rumor that Dudley wasn't even in the military. But he just talks about it, the fact that he was.
Okay. Good.
I want to do one about Dudley as well. Is that okay?
And here it is. Here it goes.
I should have given into my impulse to name him like Dudley Collins because it's really.
Can it be a two-part rumor?
No.
No.
You're already
Let me do two.
No,
over here.
Okay, so after the very sloppy kiss and the very intense proposal, rumor has it that he is both forward and fast, aka a sex maniac.
Oh.
Okay.
And he should be avoided.
Shocking.
Oh, Dudley. Would you like to confirm or create the rumor?
I'm going to. I'm going to confirm. Thank you. I'm going to confirm the rumor that Isaac's father has disowned him.
Ooh.
Okay.
Isaac hasn't gotten enough love.
Let's toe up.
It's true.
He's like he's just at home right now. Suddenly he's like felt a disturbance in the force.
Excellent.
Alright.
Okay.
I'm going to confirm that Charlotte's fortune is dwindling.
Ooh, Charlotte's fortune is dwindling. About that.
Gotta treat my rival right.
Thanks. And I feel like I like confirming. I want us to have points to use on these. Despite that one wouldn't quite make sense right now. I'm going to confirm the rumor that Gerald has a tendency to lash out at his betters. Tut-tut. Someone's rep's gonna go down.
That sounds
Dawn.
like-
Someone needs to be down here with me.
I'm actually well respected now.
Ooh, ain't gonna last.
I know, I'll say it for one scene.
All right. So that brings us now to the epistolary. Does anyone want to pen a letter?
I do to
Okay.
one Edward Dean.
Excellent.
For the audience, Edward Dean was a comrade in arms of both Isaac and of Gerald, who happens to be probably a social better by a rung or two from Gerald. So, Edward, you did warn me that the true battlefield is in England and not at the war. I was a fool for not believing you until the time. I miss the days when you could truly look an enemy in the eye, where honor meant protecting a brother as opposed to fencing off lies and fancy words. I just want to tell the truth and say what I believe is right, and this is not the place for it. Yet, I can't go back to where I was. Can you give me advice? Your friend, Gerald.
Anyone else care to pen a letter?
All right, I'm going to write a letter to Gerald.
This is from
Who's the I?
Isaac.
Isaac.
He's gotten bored at this point. There's all this exciting stuff going on, and I'm sure he's like started to hear about it, and he's just like,
There's been a lot of rumors flying about town about Gerald.
yeah. He's spent too much time worried about the fact that Agnes might be visiting, so he decided to distract himself. Dear Gerald, I've heard a lot of strange things happening lately. First of all being you went shooting without me. I understand it. It was at an event that I was not invited to, but you could have declined it. You could have stayed inside.
With me in the kitchen.
With me in the
commoner.
kitchen. Cook the food you kill. No. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted. I've been a bit flustered lately thinking about Agnes visiting.
I can't wait for her to actually show up.
Watch, she's so pleasant.
Yeah.
Absolute darling.
So, let's definitely get together soon, one-on-one, so we can catch up on everything. Also, there's been rumors going around about a man named Dudley saying he wasn't, or that he did great things in the military. I don't think I've ever even heard the name before. So, I'd like to talk to him at some point, too.
Can't wait for you to have a conversation with yourself.
Me, too.
That's where I get to step in. It's silly.
Margaret is going to write a letter to Lady Charlotte, the Dowager. Dear Lady Charlotte, I apologize for the abrupt and distressed tone of this letter, but in truth, I do not know to whom else I may appeal. As you know, I have been without a mother since birth, and you are the woman that I most admire in this town, and I seek your advice. A proposal of marriage, most unwanted, has been made. One which I cannot simply dismiss. You are aware of my circumstances with my father, and it is truly unknown to me which would be the worst fate. To resign myself to a life as the wife of the most simple man I have ever known. Or to cast away all of my future prospects to my relations. I must give my answer within the week. I seek your counsel. Yours sincerely, Margaret Harding.
Excellent.
What's with all the fanning? I mean,
We have humors, and they must be quenched.
do you know how warm it is in here?
Excellent.
You have so many layers, too.
Anyone else have a letter to write. It's all right to not have one. Excellent. Then we shall move on to the next novel in our cycle. The next novel chapter in our cycle. This one we shall go back to the Fairfax estate. We shall find Isaac in the kitchen, cooking as he is wont to do. It is perhaps no more than a day later. The next day, he has been brought a single pheasant. One was cooked the night before, but Jasper did remember to bring him one, and so he's plucking and preparing the pheasant. And he hears behind him a tap on the floor, like an impatient foot. Turns around and sees a familiar figure. His sister,
Done. Done.
Agnes.
Done.
What are you doing here?
I was told I would find you in the kitchen.
I mean, as far as what everyone's been saying, that does sound a bit accurate. So,
You really are a chef in their house.
yes. I left the family, so I could cook. It's really quite that simple.
God, I was hoping you'd gone insane or something. That would be easier to explain.
Okay, and what have you been doing? What about you?
I'm a dutiful daughter.
So, lounging, as usual, enjoying the sun, just sitting.
I think you forget that I am a woman and therefore I am not simply able to run off and become a cook.
Well, that's understandable. There's a lot of things you aren't able to do.
Brother, dearest, Isaac, dearest.
No, I'm not talking about
I read your
gender-wise.
letter to Father. In both senses. I read the letter and I also read it to Father.
He didn't get the letter first.
No, of course not. Like you said, I don't have anything to do during the day, so I may as well meddle in your affairs.
It's all you've always been best at. If only there was some way that could get you married.
Well,
Out of
if only
everyone's
I
head.
had your talents, brother, then I'm sure I would be a cook in a kitchen. Oh. I came to see how you were doing.
Well,
I also have been invited to the ball, and I'll be staying here for a little while. Given our relations with the Fairfaxes, it seemed only fitting that I should take up residence here for a few days. Father seemed to agree with me. He thought it was quite the idea. I could perhaps attempt to convince you to do something else with your life, but honestly, I'm hoping if you stay disowned long enough, then I might be set to inherit the estate.
well, let's talk about things that are more pleasant than other than you being near me constantly. How's Uncle Bertrand?
Your insane uncle.
It's a bit of a harsh word, but he's eccentric.
That's the nice way of putting it.
That's the right way of putting it. But call
So
it
I
what
can
you
call
will.
you eccentric then. Excellent. I have something to say in polite company again.
Oh, I'm in love. Damn.
Well, Agnes, I look forward to spending more time with you now. I do hope you enjoy the food.
I presume it won't murder me or kill me.
No. No. That's too evil. That's way too evil.
Isaac pulls out a bottle of arsenic.
Just like dumps it in some soup.
That is not in keeping with our
That's
theme.
soup for the whole family.
I would like to spend one of my resolve tokens to have Jasper walk in at that moment. Perhaps slightly unprepared to have a unknown person in the kitchen. You were intending to maybe speak with Isaac about a more personal matter, given that Isaac is a little more understanding of your situation. And there is this woman
can I have overheard all of this?
Yes, if that is your condition. Yes.
Yeah, I totally accept it. So many tokens now.
Wow.
People keep getting you to do stuff.
Yeah, I got 6. That's great. Okay. Anyway. Hello. I don't believe we've been acquainted.
You must be Jasper.
Would you care to introduce us more properly?
Yes, this is my lovely sister Agnes. She decided to visit because I guess my father was worried about me.
Well, it seemed quite fitting. I was invited to the Lockhart ball that will be happening in a week.
Yes. It should be quite...
I suppose it's been about a week at this point.
Yeah. It should be quite lovely, and I do...
Your family is good friends with the Lockharts, yes?
Yes, we are. It's so kind of you to care so kindly for your brother and to come here to see how he is doing.
May I use the resolve token? Isaac's father has disowned him to say that Charity/Jasper has definitely heard that rumor. Definitely 100% heard that.
It is...
Is that an appropriate use?
Yeah, I think we can, Isaac's father, wait, where is it? Oh, there it is. I think we can also add to that,
Perhaps Jasper is quite concerned about his cook's prospects and quite eager to help remedy.
Do I get a resolve token for that?
no, that one
Okay.
goes back into the pool.
Okay. Yes, I've heard a number of rumors about your family as of late that perhaps things are not so happy as I might have understood. And I'm very sorry to bring up such a topic, though
No, certainly it is probably the best person to bring up this topic with, given that Isaac is staying with you and your family.
Yes.
Some have said that he is here because he is pursuing his scientific and doctoral career, and our father wishes to know if that is true or not, because our father has some decisions to make.
Well, I think that is a complicated story, and perhaps one better saved for when we all are a little bit more well rested.
You certainly do look like you are not as ill as the rumors have said.
Oh, yes, I grow stronger every day. The influenza is quite a terrible sickness, and I feel blessed to have recovered so fully. Yet, going back to our original topic, I think it is important to remember that we all must make sacrifices for the good of our families, and that sometimes we must do things we find rather bizarre or unpleasant for that end.
Bizarre.
I'm just standing there like, hello?
Do you want me to pretend to be
Might
Agnes?
Now, brother, the invitations I received were for our entire family. I am sure that means you could come, or did you want to be in the kitchen while the adults were partying?
This is the invitation. Wait, this is the invitation to Theodore's party?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I got my own invitation.
Yes,
So,
again, the
yes.
one that our family was invited to.
Yes, so I will be going.
Oh,
Of course.
so you won't be in the kitchens then?
No,
But I thought you were a cook.
I am, but I do other things as well, as I always have. Military.
Yes.
I did.
Debauchery, lack of direction, dabbling, wandering, squandering.
Your sister
Okay, no,
does seem to
dabbling
care
doesn't
for you.
Dabbling doesn't sound
I
that bad.
do care for him. I just have a different set of cares, perhaps. I'm sorry to bring you into these family matters. I perhaps should retire back to my room. I simply wished to see my brother and inform him that I was here, but I will be staying here for a while, and it is such a pleasure indeed to meet you. also, I believe your friend we met on just coming in has just arrived, in fact, around the same time as me. He was coming off to visit, and Theodore Lockhart.
Ah, what a surprise. Thank you for informing me. And should you need anything, one of our professionals, cooks, or maids would be happy to attend to you.
It's a pleasure to be here. She will curtsy and drift out of the room.
Like a phantom.
I mean, it's probably going to be a thing that whenever she shows up, it's right behind us.
Just right dead silent, just like
breathing.
I just need you
I just
to.
always have a mirror. I'm like
I don't know if you're aware, but there's quite the Isaac fan club, or not Isaac,
Agnes fan club. Oh, I'm
happening
sure.
in
Oh,
the
I'm
She's
sure.
chat.
horrible, but she's
yeah.
She's amazing and the best.
Yes.
no. It says on here she's the literal worst. She says literally the worst. So, but that's Isaac's connection. I'll give you two a moment in the kitchen.
So,
Isaac is cauliflower.
Yeah. Yes, that was my sister.
I understood
I'm so,
that.
I'm so sorry about all that.
Yes, well, maybe her manner is not the one that you would find the easiest, but I think she does make compelling points. You are well aware of my situation and the sacrifices we must all go to protect our family and to do right by them. Thus, I think it is good to consider your family's future and how enabling its growth would also enable you to further pursue your interests once things are more secure.
Of course. Well, I do have a plan. I wouldn't just.
I would like to spend a resolve token to have a certain gentleman, Theodore Lockhart. I think you were considering spending one, but I'm going to spend it for you. A certain Theodore Lockhart to have just overheard. I suppose this is kind of a slight going either way. Just overheard something about our situation, but more importantly, to arrive in the kitchen to greet his dearest and oldest friend, who he has not seen in several years since the beginning of their time at the academy, Jasper.
Is it okay if I explain for the audience a little bit about Theodore?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jasper has been best friends since forever with Theodore, and Charity is madly in love with him. And Charity is now pretending to be Jasper. And luckily he hasn't seen Jasper in a few years, so it's fine.
So, Theodore can take the resolve token.
And Theodore is actually holding a handful of wildflowers in his hands, kind of awkward. I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
Oh, heavens, I am so sorry to have been so rude not to come and greet you. I don't know what came over me. And you have brought a gift?
Is Charity?
Can I use a resolve token?
You'd have what happened?
I'm going to use a resolve token. Charity, Jasper, begins uncontrollably blushing.
Yeah, definitely. I see the flowers and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I'm trying to keep it under the, oh my, it's rather warm in this kitchen. Shall we move away?
Well, of course. I know you've had influenza, so I'm very sorry to interrupt like this. Maybe
Yes.
the sitting room?
Yes, and again, the flowers?
I was coming across and I saw these in the field and I thought Charity might like them for her. I haven't seen her around. Is she about?
Oh, unfortunately, she is not around. Perhaps you have heard she has been sent off to a finishing school before she starts to.
I don't have a resolve token. Oh, wait. Keep going. I'm going to spend the resolve token on the rumor that Theodore has 100% heard the rumor and knows and believes that Charity has secretly eloped.
Now that just goes in the pool, right?
Yes.
And he goes, oh.
She's been sent to a finishing school abroad.
Actually, I think those ones might go to the person if they're used against a person. So was there one earlier that was used against Isaac? So Isaac would have another
You
resolve
get
token.
you get one.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I understand. You don't have to say anymore. I understand. It's okay. It's good to see you, though, Jasper. And he goes to give you a hug, but it's kind of awkward. Instead, he brings out his hand, and then you can't decide which one's best.
Yes, and I just take it and squeeze as hard as I can and shake. Maybe accidentally at first with my left hand. And yes. Well, as you know, my sister would have loved to see you, and I will let her know that you brought her such a lovely gift. And I just take the flowers and smell them.
Slightly too long.
Yeah.
I believe you have a new friend I've not met.
Yes, this is my distant cousin.
Yes. Hi. I'm. Oh my God, what's my name? I'm Isaac Croft. I believe you know my family.
Yes, I believe I do. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Theodore Lockhart. We sent you an invitation, in fact.
Yes. Yes. I'm very excited for the
Yes.
party.
In fact, Theodore actually signed every single one of them.
Hand sign.
Hand sign.
Beautiful handwriting.
Theodore would.
It's a pleasure to meet you in person, and the Fairfaxes are a wonderful family. I'm so glad you got to meet them and to be part of their hospitality. Jasper's been a close friend of mine for years. So, a friend of him is a clear dear friend to me, so it's a pleasure meeting you.
Of course, and you absolutely, your family, amazing people. If there's anything that you need from me while you're here, let me know.
Thank you for that. I believe my father's taking care of most of the arrangements. I'm merely here to make sure it comes swimmingly, as it were. So, what is new here?
What? Yes, how about we go to the drawing room and enjoy some drinks?
Sure. I'll stand up from the sitting room. Kind of awkward.
Yes. Very warm in here.
Are you sure you're okay, Jasper? I don't want to make you move more than necessary. I know you must recover.
Yes, I am, as I said, getting stronger every day, though it is, on occasion, still a little bit difficult. Anyway, tell me of yourself. How have you been? It has been much too long.
I've been well. I've been in London learning the trade of my father. He believes that perhaps one day I will be able to take over his vast fortune. He has many deals going on. He believes it is about time for me to start the family business of ownership. He thinks this area is quaint and will be not beyond my capabilities. And I hope to prove him right.
So are you going to be here more long term?
For at least the next couple of weeks.
Ah, wonderful. We should make as much use of this time as we can.
I agree. It's been too long. Remember when we used to run out in the fields as a child?
Yes, it was quite lovely.
And we can't do that now. But there's plenty of things to do, and I'm sure we can take ample time. Do it. This is so unlike the city. So much space out here.
Yes, it's quite lovely. And how are the preparations for your party going?
They're going swimmingly. It helps that everyone is eager and excited.
Yes, I am quite excited. Perhaps we will have many good dances with all of the lovely people you are inviting.
I do love dancing, though I do hear giggles now and again when I say dancing and such. I don't know why.
Spend too much time in the Americas.
I've not heard such a thing, but I am sure it is just the trifles of immature and improper women who don't appreciate a good dance.
Maybe so, but hopefully I can show everyone a good time and everyone can welcome me to the extended neighborhood as a peer. That's all I hope for.
Question. When Theodore was signing all of these handwritten invitations, did he send one to Charity?
Yes, he did. He would, because he was not actually aware until recently that she was gone. And he was...
It would have arrived here.
Yes, it would have.
Just a little tidbit of information for you there.
Yes. Anyway, well, do let me know if there's any way I can be of assistance in all of these arrangements. I know it is quite complicated, and without someone to lend a hand, as you are an only child, it is a lot to do.
I appreciate that, but I do believe that your hands will be full, reputation token, for I believe your betrothed might be coming as well. It is about time you become a proper gentleman.
Yes. I had been hoping to spend some time with
Josephine Bailey.
Yes. As it has been some time since I was graced with her presence, and thank you so kindly for inviting her. I will be so happy to see her again, and be sure to dance with her at least 2 times.
What passion!
No, I mean, really, that was really passionate. More than 2 dances?
2 whole dances.
Jolly good. You're becoming a better and better man every day.
Thank you. I am truly complimented to hear such words from you.
But we've been spending too long talking about us. Isaac, why don't you tell more about yourself?
I thought I left. Oh, did you? Because it was so awkward.
You left? You don't even notice. He's been looking straight at Ezra this entire time.
I backed away as quietly and slowly as I could.
So Isaac... Oh.
Is gone.
Yes, he probably went back to the kitchen to do something or other. I have no idea what
He's a
he
pleasant
does.
fellow, but to be honest, I'd rather spend the time alone with you anyway. So shall we?
Yes. Quite lovely. And how about you? You mentioned my promise and that I should become a proper gentleman. And is there any news on your side?
I had hopes, but I think for now they're dashed.
Ah, that is truly disappointing to hear. And any other prospects on the horizon that you are hoping?
Sadly, none at all. I believe it's for the best, for my heart was for just one. Though my father might see differently of it, I do believe he is scheming for this event to find me a bride.
Well, it is often a good place to meet people, but don't tire yourself out too much there. You know how the young ladies can be.
Yes, but I still have the duty to the Lockhart name.
Of course.
And with that, perhaps we will draw it to a close. Dinner may be called soon. There's at least one good pheasant, but perhaps with all these guests in town, it may not be sufficient.
Time for wild hunts.
What's your advantage?
My true family.
Probably needs to happen during a scene, I think. Read what it says. Does it say it needs to happen during a scene?
No.
Okay, then you can
Or,
use...
well, I mean, it kind of, like, says, like, sort of, like,
Yeah, you
while you did this.
probably needs to either... You can definitely do it in the epistolary or in a scene.
Okay.
Chador.
Yeah. Yeah, either one of those, but probably... Unless you want us to do a vignette now.
We'll wait.
Okay. Secrets! Players passing notes. Okay. So that will bring us to the final epistolary of this evening, of this chapter. In our fine novel, we have done 2 cycles. We have had many things come to light. Many rumors have been started and many things have been said. So before we wrap up for the evening, does anyone have a burning letter that needs to be written?
Theodore is going to write a letter to Charity that will never happen because he's going to throw it into the river after rewriting it.
So a letter that is never received by Charity. What is this letter?
My dearest Charity, I came with a proposal, but with unfortunate news, I've heard you have already eloped. I fear that my heart will never recover, but it's my duty as Lockhart to go on. Perhaps in another life, we can be together, but until then, I hope for you the best. Yours always, Theodore. And into the river it goes.
You could use a resolve token to get it.
Yes.
So many.
I'm just walking along the river, enjoying
Staying
my
further down the river.
enjoying my manly freedom to walk alone.
Deep cut.
And I see this paper, and I'm like, oh, what could this be?
Dare someone to ruin our fine river.
And I read it, and I nearly faint, and I am so overwhelmed. So then I go home, and I must write a letter as Charity.
We did not, however, do the reputation increase and decrease from the previous scene, so we have to pause for a second. I think we all know whose reputation might have gone down the most.
I'm sorry, Isaac.
Given there were only 2 main characters in that scene, and I think Jasper's went up the most. I think it increased. So the 2 of you, if you would like to look at the options that have not been crossed off.
This is fun.
Grinny is mad at you, AJ.
I'm so sorry, Granny.
Okay.
Oh, they're on the right sides too.
How dare you upset Grinny?
I hope there's more because we're going to cross all of these off with
Hey, I
it.
feel like
I
it's like
picked
one
out-
per session, maybe resets.
It says every game, but
Oh.
we might have to figure it out.
For me, your word is believed over the gossip. Cross out and... Oh, it has been unconfirmed rumor.
Would you like
Yeah.
to look at the list? There was still
Yeah.
some more about you.
But the elope thing, it's been...
It's been
No!
used. It's been
Okay,
used.
I'll have to...
There is the jealous of Gerald one, but that's pretty much the only one about you.
I don't care about that one. A false but flattering rumor spreads about you in town. We add it to the
All right.
rumor.
You have a particular rumor?
What rumor?
Charity is getting the highest marks in this finishing school
Oh.
and will make a perfect bride whenever she returns.
Completely unattached.
Completely unattached.
Go. Okay.
Okay.
Which one do you select?
You attract the attention of another of ill repute. Like, why not just keep bringing crappy people into Isaac's life?
Someone of ill repute attracts your attention.
Just bring it.
Who doesn't have a good reputation right now?
I mean, you can
Margaret?
make it fun.
Margaret, maybe she's like, oh, he's rebellious too.
Ooh.
Can I spend a resolve token to make that happen?
Yeah. Let's all right, double down on this. So,
Let's get a token.
you get a token.
If you accept.
And
what
is it that I'm being asked to do?
You are going to. Isaac has attracted your attention.
Attract. Oh God.
And you can put some conditions on that, but in some way, Isaac has attracted your attention. And I would say this can resolve in the epistolary, so perhaps you pen a letter to Isaac.
He has attracted her attention as someone she may be able to perhaps utilize to try and get her out of the situation she now finds herself in.
Excellent.
Isaac is a jack of all trades.
I'll take the my sheet back. Okay, so I say we resolve that in the epistolary, in which perhaps a letter is penned.
Then I have 2 letters to write.
Excellent.
Yes.
So
Would you
I'm
like to do the first one, and then we'll come back to charities?
Yes.
So I am going to start with a letter penned by Edward Dean, a connection of Lieutenant Gerald Hawkins, the gentleman to whom he wrote earlier in the evening. My good friend Gerald, I am so sorry to hear that you are not finding town to be agreeable. You have had such a difficult time on the front. I was in great hopes that you would find amusement in your shore leave. However, I have news that I hope will bring you some glad tidings. As my intended, the Baroness, is currently engaged with family and making arrangements for our future nuptials, I find myself with some time on my hands. I can think of no better way to use it. I can think of no better way to use it, my friend, than to come and raise your spirits. Perhaps together we shall find you some manner of amusement. Sincerely, manner of reputable amusement.
No, this is the routine we're talking about. You probably would
Manner of amusement.
Oh, God.
Sincerely, what's the ship name for that, friends? Sincerely, your friend Edward.
So, Charity writes a letter.
Okay, yes. Oh my goodness. This is so nerve-wracking. It has to be perfect. All right. My dearest Theodore Lockhart, forgive me for being so uncharacteristic, but I had a dream in which you had written me a letter that never arrived and felt compelled to reach out to you and let you know that I am thinking of you and everyone in the town, of course, and that I am sad that I will not be able to attend your gathering, especially on such a happy occasion as you returning to our quaint countryside. I hope that you find good company with my brother and would love to hear from you. Sincerely, Charity. So nervous.
Excellent. Lizzie.
Anybody else before I go again? Okay. Fuck. Huh. What is your last name again?
Croft.
Croft.
Although you mistyped it several times, here is Craft.
I know, I noticed.
Croft, like Laura.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yes.
It's a food raider.
Oh God.
Kitchen raider.
My dear Mr. Croft. I feel that you and I have perhaps gotten our recent acquaintance off onto the wrong foot. I am most interested in learning more of the incredibly intriguing field in which you now find yourself, as Jasper put it, nutrition. Perhaps during the ball that we are all to attend on, I'm going to spend a resolve token to say that the ball falls directly 1 week after the proposal.
Perhaps just less than a week.
Just less than a week.
Yep.
From the proposal that she received from Dudley. Perhaps during Mr. Lockhart's ball, you would do me the honor of spending a moment to discuss with me the particulars of your incredibly intriguing field. I am most interested in learning more. Sincerely, Ms. Harding.
Just imagine as soon as I get it, I'm just like, what is going on? I just put my head on my desk.
Final letters to be penned this
One
evening.
more.
Yes.
I'm going to write another one as Charity to Margaret. And Margaret's, I will spend a resolve token to make it so both it occurs to her that it's strange that this letter with the things written in it has come so soon after it happened, because she's supposed to be on the continent, and also that it does touch her heart a little. Is that okay?
Yeah, I accept this token.
All right, yes, okay. All right.
However, I accept it with the condition that it would be quite strange to her.
Yeah,
That is going to stand out.
Yeah.
Okay.
My dearest Margaret, I hope you found my last letter to your liking, though I suspect that I am out of practice for writing in English, as I have been doing all my writing in German and French, and please forgive me. And I wish to convey my sincerest desires that I wish you nothing but good fortune and happiness, and if you find yourself being proposed to by a sex maniac, nope, crossed out, a man who is faster and more forward than you find to your liking, I would beg of you to be true to your heart and say no. And if you happen to meet someone who has the freedom of spirit and willfulness of desire as yourself, I would hope that you would allow yourself to pursue that person in your own way. Sorry if this is very personal. I just miss you terribly. Your dearest friend, I hope, Charity.
And I think that's where we're going to end our final letter of the evening. 2 cycles of play. We're going to read the donations that came through, and then we will be beginning next week.
This is so fun.
This is so fun.
Oh, episode 1. That means things are going to get twisted.
Once you get going with the whole letters thing,
Letters are good.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
And I really also like these tokens as like kind of a way of negotiating consent in the
I definitely recommend the Kickstarter for this game will be going up.
This is fun.
In 2 days, I believe, on the 4th. So I recommend checking it out. It's a very fun game. I think they will be including like some quick start rules for free potentially. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong, but definitely give it a look. It's a very fun game to play, and it's a much more, you'll notice, equitable distribution of storytelling. So it's definitely good for a group that maybe doesn't have someone who wants to GM as strictly. So let us read these donations that came through. I shall read them in my most Charlotte of voices again. She's quite old.
Little piece of me dies every time.
you.
First one. This is good. Our first donation that came through from Ado Tillin with $50. I enjoy sandwiches.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
They are cut into quarters and triangles. Celador 10 with $5. Oh, this is a letter to Lady Charlotte. I have to affect a different voice then. Oh, this is Lady Charlotte reading the letter. Dear Lady Charlotte, I have heard some troubling rumors of late that your family estate is dwindling. What? Please allow me to contribute. I entreat you to continue hosting such an esteemed party of ladies and gentlemen. I do hope we will see you again. How rude. I have never been so insulted in my life. Vir Saracen, I think I'm saying that wrong, to $10 in memory of Lord Byron and his attempt to nurse his dog Boatswain from rabies. It was unsuccessful. Back to my sister, who is, yes, now an addict. Well, welcome. We're quite happy to have you. I apologize for naming your name so wrong so many times. Will Dipper with $10, sips tea, throws shade. Fans fan. Paladin Hulk with $1.69, and now the show has made a profit. And finally, Void Smoker with $25. Congratulations on a wonderful endeavor, everyone.
Yay!
I think we exceeded the goal! Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this premiere episode. You see what I did there? Yes, I made a word pun. I play upon the words. We will be back next week at the same time, 7 p.m. Pacific time, to play another episode of A Manor of Speaking, a Good Society RPG. In the meantime, let us talk about where you can find everyone else. I do also recommend checking out our Patreon if you would like to set up a regular monthly donation. It's a very simple way of just sort of leave it methodology. Who would like to start? Let's start over here with our finest person playing so many characters.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Genki Soda, and I yell about whatever thing I'm upset about at the time, and also memes, and try to be everybody's friend, because everybody's awesome. And maybe someday I'll do more things on the internet. I'll need to level up my cool points, but yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Andy. You can find me on Twitter at space_cat189. The underscore is very important. Don't forget it. I don't even know what the other one is without the underscore. But yeah.
Hi. Again, I'm Algernon Bolden. You can catch me at Algernon Bolden because I don't have a cool handle or anything. Yeah.
And I am Elizabeth Bold. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Elizabeth Bold. I stream on the occasional Thursdays. Lately it's been rough. We're going through some life changes that are good. And you can also find me right here on GeekSpaceTV Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. where I play Captain Ziana on the show Leviathan, Distant Stars.
It's gonna be so many feelings this week. It's gonna be real good.
We're GM'd by Laura on Random Tuesday, and we're going to be joined next week by a new cast member, Blue Jay.
I'm very excited. I am Random Tuesday. You can find me in many places. February is the month of me GMing. If you would like to see me GMing something similar but different, you can catch me on Roll For It on Sunday morning. I will be GMing Avalon High, a Arthurian Legend Monster Hearts AU. Because that's a thing that I came up with.
Monster Hearts is so good.
I'm also very excited to run it with Arthurian Legends because
Nice.
really, there's just a lot of sex and scandal in them. It's
For
gonna be
real.
great. And I will also be back here on Wednesday with Blue Jay joining our cast of Leviathan Distant Stars, in which maybe they finally get to the plot. No, they never do. It's
Nah.
fine. We do
Nah.
this much plot and this much feelings.
Yeah.
Or more. So, join me for those, or you can check me out on my own Twitch channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It has been an absolute pleasure, a pure delight, and we shall see you again upon the next episode of A Manor of Speaking.